I've accepted Paddy's good from the get-go, so I'll be ready.
I'm going to beat you, Lewis. I'm going to beat you down in front of your own town. I don't think he's world class.
I believe I put you out of there.
March 1st, Lewis Crocker faces Paddy Donovan in a final eliminator for the IBF welterweight world title. It's not just Belfast versus Limerick, it's a point of pride. This is face-off. You're one fight away, both of you, for challenging for the IBF world title. How are you both feeling?
This fight's been talked about for probably just over a year and stuff now. It was always going to happen, and for the IBF eliminator to be on the line as well, it's worked out for us, so I'm the best man win.
When did you both become on each other's radars? How did that come about?
Paddy was shooting on way above me because I was out for a bit, so I was, and Paddy was getting the match room and having spectacular knockouts and stuff, and my name wasn't really about until I think I fought McKenna, and it sort of put me on the map, and then we're in the same weight, and it made sense. Do you know what I mean? Like two exciting styles, two young, hungry guys, and yeah, everything's worked out well.
Yeah, I seen Lewis maybe 5 or 6 fights ago, and I looked at him and I said it's a potential fight that could happen. We had some very good wins, both of us, on our CV in the last couple of fights, and it started to make sense. And it was a fight that I really wanted, and I knew the Irish crowd would react amazingly to it happening, so I'm delighted to be here.
You've said that he was almost forced in taking this fight as opposed to wanting this fight. What do you mean by that?
Well, I believe he didn't want to fight Walker again, and I believe that the only opportunity out from fighting Walker was to fight me, and I think it was a fight that he didn't want. His manager, his coach, that Billy guy, took to Twitter to say that I don't deserve the fight to fight Lewis, and that I had not fight anyone in the top 10 to deserve to fight Lewis. But yet I've been on the scene with Matchroom and been more highly ranked than Lewis. I was in the top 10 with just 10 fights, so I don't know why his coach didn't want that fight to happen. I just feel like he was just forced into fighting me, really.
After the Walker fight, like I was highly rated, like 3 in the WBA. What else not? And there was world title opportunities there. Do you know what I'm saying? Like I was reaching for the big thing, and no matter what I say, I've never turned down any fight. Like you're a harder fight than Walker. You're like stylistically, so you are. We're here now, anyway, and it couldn't be a bigger stage.
Who do you believe should go into this fight favourite?
I preferably like being the underdog. I come from an underdog area, privileged family that was always classed as the underdogs. So yeah, it's nice to have that little feeling inside to get back that of being an underdog. So if Lewis is favourite here in Belfast, well on him. But I like the feeling of being an underdog.
Like the saying about being an underdog, like when I was watching like Paddy rise up and stuff, mate, this was a couple of years back, nothing was going right in my life, so it was. So like talking about the underdog story, like I went from main eventing in Belfast, and then my next fight was a year and a half later in Scotland at a hotel, and I slowly but surely got to this stage. Do you know what I mean? So like talking about the underdog, I know all about it myself.
One would assume that Lewis, you're the bigger puncher, but when you do take a glance at the records, you have the higher knockout percentage. You've stopped more. Who is the bigger puncher here?
I believe I'm a naturally heavy-handed guy. I think Paddy progresses great accuracy with his shots, so he does. But some of the guys I've fought have like not been stopped and stuff before. Do you know what I mean? Like when I was like 10-0 or something, or whatever, I was like 7 knockouts and stuff. But once you start progressing and then fighting the tougher guys and the harder guys, and see, the best thing that ever happened to me, it was going the distance them times as well. Like, do you know what I mean? Because it stands by you in these fights. I've accepted Paddy's good from the get-go. Do you know what I mean? So there's no like surprise of like going, I'm not too sure if he's good or not. You know, no, I've accepted that you're good, so I'll be ready.
Lewis gives that vibe, the way he fights. He punches quite low. He punches from the hip. He's quite wild, and he is a strong fighter. I know he's a strong fighter, and I don't underestimate his power. But yeah, as Lewis just ticked, I'm more accuracy, I'm more disciplined, more educated in a lot more aspects than Lewis. And yeah, I've a way of breaking down fighters to get the knockout. So, as you said, on paper I've 80% knockout ratio. Lewis is 50. So, we'll see on the night. That's where it matters. When it comes March 1st, there'll be parts where punching will come into it. There'll be parts where boxing will come into it. There'll be parts where heart will come into it. There'll be parts for all different aspects of the game. But I'm ready for everything, and I know what Lewis possesses. I know what kind of fighter he is, and I'd be ready for him.
I think most would assume this is boxer versus fighter, but I'll ask you both a question. If Paddy decides to hold the centre of the ring with you and have a war, what happens?
Oh, good question.
I want you to have a war, like, so what I mean. So I believe I put you out of there.
Can Lewis outbox you?
We got to see. Maybe he believes he can. I think Lewis's goal is tight guard, walk down, try to bring a fight. I think that's his really only game plan, his only option. I don't think, personally myself, that Lewis could stand and box with me. But then again, I think I can stand and fight with Lewis. So there's different ways of looking at this fight. And to be a complete fighter, to be up there with the best fighters in the world, you need to be able to do it all. Inside, long, middle distance, angles, you need it all. Full package to compete with the best fighters in the world. I believe I can do that. I don't think Lewis can. Not yet. I think he's a high-level British fighter, but I don't think he's world class.
Looking at each other's current form and looking at the last fight v Walker, you wasn't impressed. You don't think he won that fight?
No, honestly, deep down I don't think, but maybe I was being a bit biased because I thought Lewis was going to beat Walker quite handy. Walker had a couple of losses on his record and I didn't really rate him. But yeah, on the night I thought he won the fight.
Do you think they're looking at that fight a little bit too much?
I think that's where the major confidence came from.
Not just that, Lewis, not just that fight. I've watched all your fights. I've seen all your fights. We went back to a lot of your footage in the fights in Scotland, the fight here in Belfast. We've studied you. You had a couple of good performances, don't get me wrong, but there's a lot of mediocre performances, normal level fighters where most of them was journeymen, and the style of your fighting was you could get in any gym in England or the UK or in Ireland, wherever. So I think that the one or two fights that he looked good in was against guys that was quite lighter and not really matching him, and the ones that he fought that was at his weight, he just looked mediocre.
Said he got hurt by a journeyman. Do you believe that? Did it happen?
I do believe that. I do believe that. And if he can catch you, there's no reason why I couldn't as well.
And let me tell you something, I wasn't ever hurt in that fight. And that same guy had a 16-win streak with one loss, and he fought Pat McCormick, the Olympic silver medalist, and gave Pat a very, very hard night. So
who beat that guy?
Who beat him? Lewis beat him. Your man beat him. Pat McCormick beat him.
Who beat him prior to that?
I'm not sure who beat him. I didn't look into
it.
It
was like 0-30.
Oh, who beat you? Who's the guys that beat you? All 40 and 50 losses. All the records. I looked at all of them.
No one's beat me.
In your 16th fight, you fought a guy with 40 losses. 40 losses. If I had 16
was that
fights,
when I was off for a year and a half?
If I had 16 fights, where would I be? You think about that, Lewis.
Who did I fight prior to that?
40 fights, please. You're boxing in shows the size of this place.
And now you're at the big stage.
You have one or two fights and you have your little breakthrough, you have your limelight, but I'm going to take that away at March 1st.
Who's got the better record? Who's been in with the better fighters?
Me.
Tell me who you've been better than me.
Well, who's your best opponent?
Okay, so is Walker your best?
Well, you'd be the most highly rated at all.
And he give him a hard fight, and that's your best performance. That's your best fight.
How's that Ritson giving a close fight?
He gave him a good fight. He gave a good run. I knocked Ritson out.
But what's up, man? You're saying on paper, Walker was number 4 in the WBA, so he was.
But he couldn't get Ritson out of there.
Well, that's nothing to do with me.
I know, but that can tell you the way you and Walker is. You're not really high-level fighters. You're British-level fighters.
This is what I'm saying about.
I'm high-level.
Confidence.
I'm high-level. High-level gets Ritson and gets these guys out of there.
It's going to be a different.
British level struggles and brawls with them kind of fighters. That's the difference.
Do you both believe that you can go on and win world titles, or do you think there's a ceiling?
We'll have to, because if we didn't, we wouldn't be in this game.
But what I'm saying is, do you believe Paddy can be a world champion?
I always said that. I did. I always said that, but I just don't think it's his time right now.
And what about Lewis? Can he win a world title one day?
I think he can, but not right now. I think he's, as I said, a high-level British fighter. He's not world level. He's not there yet. I think he can be, but just not right now. It's my time. I am the man.
It's taking place in Belfast, your home city.
Who cares where it is? We're going to fight. There's going to be amazing support for Lewis. There's going to be amazing support for me here in Belfast. So it doesn't really matter where it is now. The main thing is we've got to fight each other and we've got to put on the show. We're the two best welterweights probably in the last 20 or 30 years in Ireland. So the two of us to put it on the line for a world title eliminator, it's really big.
It's exciting.
So that being said, with the opportunity to be flying the flag for your regions, your areas, and the potential to be fighting for a world title next, who has the mental capacity here past that test?
I've never left the gym, never in my life left the gym. I never had through deaths, through losing family members, suicide, through very, very strong and difficult times. I've never left the gym. I've always worked and worked and worked for these moments. And as you said, you need go homies for this night, and I'll have them on the night.
Do you think he's had his McKenna night yet, where he's had to deal with that pressure?
Definitely not. This is his first time headlining, I believe, is it? This will be my 6th. But even though maybe there'll be lesser guys, but I've still went through that.
Yeah, but look, as Lewis said, there's only a couple of fights that Lewis had has been, like even with Eddie in Matchroom, it's only the last 2 or 3 fights that has been kind of big time for you. I'm made for these things, I'm made for these opportunities. I've worked so hard for this, and in my head, I've always been the star, because deep down I know I am where I'm supposed to be. That is right here at this table, at this present moment. That's where my life is taking me, and I'm ready for it, man. I'm ready deep down. I feel like getting emotional, I'm that ready for it.
Paddy, look at Lewis and tell him exactly what is going to happen on March the 1st.
I'm going to beat you, Lewis. I'm going to beat you down in front of your own town.
Good luck.
You'd be needing to look. Be ready. Be ready.
Handshake, lads.
No.
I'm a man, I'm a gentleman, that's what the Irish do. You know, we mean business when it comes to March 1st, but I'm respectful of Lewis. But I got a job to do and he's in my way, and I'm going to seize that moment, as I said.